Hello and welcome to the Restricted Area Podcast, where we break down all things WNBA and NBA from the week. As a reminder, you can hear this podcast the day before it can be seen on YouTube by checking out Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts. To get you started, I'm your host, Alex Perez, joined by producer Colton Smith.
Hello,
How we
hello.
doing?
Doing good, doing good. I was just talking, accepted a job offer this week, so I'm excited to really quickly get into things next week on that position. So pumped about that. It's been a fun kind of stretch of basketball. Not really fun last night. Purdue lost, but been a fun time for the state of Indiana. I suppose we won a championship. That's about as close as I guess I'll get to witness an Indiana Pacers championship in a roundabout way because our sacrifice of Tyrese Halliburton most certainly contributed to that.
Caitlin
Um,
Clark.
and
Anyways,
Caitlin Clark, Daniel Jones, you name it. Indiana has sacrificed it for of all teams the Hoosiers to win it, but that's okay. Maybe they also sacrificed it for a Purdue basketball championship. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, it's been a good week. How about you, Alex?
it's been good. The weekend, as you mentioned, was very good. NFL action and
hmm
the college football playoff championship and a day off work. So you can't really ask for much more of a better weekend than that. So it was pretty
Absolutely.
awesome. And we will go ahead and get started. Another exciting week in the NBA and WNBA. What stood out to you?
Got to talk about the Knicks and Carl Anthony Towns, that whole situation to get things kicked off here. Looking at the Knicks, they're 2-9 in their last 11 games. Magically, they're still third in the East, though. That's not really magic. That's just how bad the East is. In the past 10 games, in 232 minutes without Jalen Brunson on the floor, the Knicks are scoring just 107 points per possession, per 100 possessions, and down from their overall average of 113.7 over those minutes. It's a 5 point dip in that 10-game span specifically. But against Sacramento last week, Brunson was hurt in the first quarter, and they proceeded to go 8 for 41 beyond the arc. I'm
Yikes.
sure you can guess how that game ended. Uh, that leads us to the report by Steve Popper, Knicks reporter, that the Knicks have held trade discussions involving Carl Anthony Towns with multiple teams, including Memphis, Orlando, and Charlotte. There's a team or two me and Alex maybe think should be on that list. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then Andy Katz has said he's spoken to people around the league and asked them, where do you think Katz' value is at? And the most common response is, look at the Trey Young deal. Towns has had locker room problems in New York with Brown. His value is down. Little Dr. Seuss there for you, and he's having the worst year of his career. So it's just really crazy to me how quickly this Knicks situation has unraveled. Because I was on the show 2 weeks ago, and it seemed like they lost. They had probably dropped a couple games at that point, but it was nothing really on my radar. And all of a sudden, we're hitting the panic alarm, trading Cat, and all of this. Has Mike Brown even lost the locker room a little bit? I don't know if I'm going to go that crazy yet, but I turn it to you, Alex. What do you see being the solution here? Is it a bump in the road and they'll turn it around come the All Star break, or is this a serious issue that's going to have to come down to a trade?
Yeah, it seems as if the power friendship isn't quite working anymore. Maybe OKC took all their powers away. I don't know, but it's definitely ugly in New York. Four straight losses, I believe, for the Knicks. So definitely not something you expect, especially for a roster of that magnitude and the money you're spending on that roster. But Cat doesn't seem to fit in with a whole lot of people, so that may be the move at this point. Toughness really not his forte per se, and so it may be time to move him, and that would clear up a lot of money. Um, Speaking as to where he might land, uh, Orlando doesn't really fit the defensive identity, but I feel like he's exactly what they need offensively to kind of provide another spark that they don't really have right now. Like you said, they're looking not great, but it doesn't matter. It's the East. And then what was the other one? Charlotte and who else?
Charlotte and Memphis. Memphis,
Memphis.
apparently, I
Yeah,
saw another report that they're in very deep talks with Memphis. That's the one I've seen a lot.
Charlotte. I don't think Cat would sign off on that. I don't know if he even has a say, but still, that's
Mhm.
rough if that's the case. Memphis. Seems like a bit of a dumpster fire right now, so that would be tough. But maybe Jaw changes his attitude and the kind of the whole attitude of the team shifts if they get a trade like that. I could see it happening, but I think Orlando makes the most sense here. LA sounds kind of nice. Uh, Aiden and Austin Reeves, you could package them. I don't think you can afford Austin Reeves after this season anyway, so why not? But again, I think the most realistic thing is Orlando.
I agree. I agree. I think that's the team that is the best for all sides. And speaking of best of all sides, do you remember when this trade happened? Like what, a year and a half ago? We were doing Friday Football Live. I had just come back and
Mm-hmm.
the trade happened. I was like, that's a steal for the Knicks, and it did not. I guess end up being. It kind of looked like a year one pretty well. I mean, Randall was doing his thing in Minnesota towards the end of the season, but and now here we are already looking to trade Karl Anthony Towns again, while the Timberwolves are on an upswing, at least as of recent, and the Knicks are on their worst stretch in the Jalen Brunson era for sure. Um, it's just kind of again, it's just how crazy the cat trade has soured and the New York Knicks situation has unraveled. I do want to give a say for Indiana in this one. I don't think they would, and I don't blame them if they do, because I do worry about that locker room value. I don't know that Cat himself is a locker room cancer. I just think maybe he is. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just weird.
It's tough right
Uh,
now.
I do worry about that aspect of it, but can you imagine Cat and Pascal Siakam? Maybe Pascal is the one that finally teaches him how to be tough. Probably not, but uh, like I just feel like that would be such a great front court to go with Tyrese. That's two lob threats for Tyrese that can also shoot the ball. I mean, if you think about it, they really have similar skill sets, except I would say Pascal is more of a versatile offensive player. Not to hate on Cat, I just think he is Cat. If Cat drops 40, he's got like eight threes. If
Yeah.
Pascal drops 40, he can do it from all three levels. So I think it would make Cat a better player because he can obviously still stretch the floor. You're not giving that up. And when he wants to be, and there has been times where he has shown it, he can be tough. He can get on the boards. He can play good defense. So if we can get him to want to in the playoffs, I think that would be a nasty team. What do the Pacers give up? I don't really know. Probably not much. The Knicks probably aren't even willing to talk to the Pacers after what we did to them last year. But a guy can dream. I think that would be a fun fit. I think he would be a great fit on the Lakers. I don't know about giving up Reeves and Aiton. I don't know if that's too steep of a haul, but you guys know a thing or two about steep hauls. I don't know Luka Doncic. I just
Yeah.
don't know if you're making that trade. I don't know if Cat, Luca, and LeBron are really any different than that of Austin Reeves and Aiton in that lineup. I feel like you lose a very valuable piece in Reeves, who you're saying you're going to lose anyways. But are you going to are you going to be able to take on that Cat cap?
That's true. I mean, either way, LeBron is probably retiring after this season, so that frees up a lot of cap space. Either way, so it's really just if you want Austin Reeves or Cat at that point. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like maybe the problem with Cat is he just doesn't have a tough personality. I don't know if it's not in his game, but his personality is not tough. And the two
Mm-hmm.
teams that he's been on have been like teams that want to rip your head off all the time.
Well, he's had
So
Tom Thibodeau as his head coach twice.
yeah. So he's been around what Ant, and then he had to be around the Knicks, who are all about basically punching you in the face during basketball games. So
Right.
it's a tough environment to be in if you're not fit, I guess mentally and emotionally tough like that.
Well, that's what's where I say, hey, Pacers, like we play tough basketball, but that's not our identity necessarily. We're very fast paced. We're fast break.
Yeah,
I think Cat can get down the floor as long as he gets that conditioning going. And the one thing I found, and then I'm ready to move on to my next storyline, but Cat's 30. Cat's one of those guys, kind of like Devin Booker, that I've always just felt like I look at his age and like, oh, that's about 2 to 3 years younger than I thought he was, and that didn't happen this time when I was looking at Cat's stats this year. And Cat said, he's having the worst year of his career. It's still an okay year, terrible efficiency from beyond, but uh, it's still like okay. Like one man's rich is another man's poor, but uh, I still that was kind of shocking. So if Cat's really gonna try to take that next step, he's got to do it right now. I don't know what next step I'm talking about. I'm talking about competing for a championship. I think
Hmm.
that's probably what he's got left to accomplish, and I don't know if that's going to happen in New York after this stretch. But crazier things have happened.
They certainly have.
But then I want to move on to two teams that currently find themselves in the play-in, but are on very good upswings. While, and I talked about this with Alex before the show, it feels like a lot of the top teams are kind of sitting around. Like OKC, San Antonio, and Detroit are all doing their thing. Everyone else is like 5-5 in their last 10. But the Blazers and Clippers have looked really good. Starting with the Blazers, they find themselves at 500 for the first time since mid-November. They were 6-6 at the time. Speaking of six, in 2026. They're 8-2. That's the best record of any team in this year. Half of those wins are coming out against teams, winning teams like San Antonio, Houston twice, and the Los Angeles Lakers. Thank you for raising your hand. How about Caleb Love too? Dropped 22-7 against the Lake Show. That's all with Denny
Hmm.
Advia, Drew Holiday, and Jeremy Grant in and out of the lineup throughout that stretch. They're actually 18-14 against the Western Conference and 4-8 against the East. Might be the only, I didn't fact check this, but I'd say they're one of the few teams with a losing record against the East in the Western Conference. And they've had a stretch of six straight. They got a stretch of six straight coming up against the East. So perhaps they're about to go back down on the roller coaster. Just got back to 500, just to go back below 500. But uh, I don't know. I think time will tell. We will see what this team truly is. They had quite the curveball thrown at them back in mid-November. I think was the same time that Chauncey
Yeah.
Billups was never to be seen again. So went through all of that regime change and have come out the other end of it on a really good streak. So hopefully this is where they kind of turn it around and keep it going. And it makes me wonder if that did not happen, where this team would be, how many more wins would they have, and could they be fighting for a top six seed at this point? It would take a lot of slippage from the top for them to get there at this point. But I mean, you get a play-in. We had we've had teams in the play-in make deep runs. I don't know if this is one of those teams, but hey, who knows? All I'm saying is the Blazers could be playing for a playoff spot, which isn't something that is out of the realm of possibility if I looked back to the start of the year, but it's been a good run, good stretch here in 2026. So hopefully they keep that up. Alex does not hope this team keeps it up, though. The Clippers, winners of 13 of their last 16 games, dropping the butt end of a home doubleheader to the Bulls last night. Jordan Miller has been a revelation off the bench, getting the second most minutes over the Clippers' recent six-game winning streak. They obviously lost, but they had one going. And bringing his scoring output up to 11 a game while shooting 51% from the field. I saw a lot of good advanced stats about him. Speaking of the bench, they've gone from in the first 27 games, 27th bench in the NBA to fourth over the past 16 games. That's a absolutely stout difference. And when you look at James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, who are averaging 54.2 points per game combined, not showing their age one bit. Kawhi, dare I say, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because then it won't happen. But it's still two all-star level players right now at the age of 34 and 36. If their bench keeps up their production, they already have a very tough defensive identity. I think this is not necessarily a playing team I would want to play in the first round of the playoffs. Is all I'm saying. I mean, if I'm the Thunder, I don't care, but I mean they could give the Spurs an absolute 6 to 7 game series. We'll say 6 game series and give them a tough fight for sure. I wouldn't want to face this team in the first round by any stretch of the imagination. And they are still 19-24 though, so I wouldn't necessarily say they're back. Like they could easily just go on a 5 game losing streak and be out of the play-in. But they've been playing really tough here as of recent. If they keep this trajectory, it's a long road, a tough road, but hey, they're the oldest team in the league, right? I don't. I guess age is wisdom. I didn't really know how I was going to wrap that up.
Yeah, it didn't really turn out well for the Lakers when they tried to do that a couple years back, but no sour grapes here. The Clippers started what 6-20 and now have been on this run. insane what they're doing. Jordan Miller, as you talked about, had one of the nastiest Euro steps I've ever seen the other night. But shout out to him for being able to elevate his game and be a key piece for them. But the pieces we didn't think would really had it anymore, Kawhi and James Harden, that didn't seem like they could figure it out together. But it seems like they now have. Don't really know what the difference was, but they're doing some great things. And the Blazers, they just know how to build. They've been doing it very well in the draft, and those young pieces are flourishing. And they do have a Damian Lillard who may be back next season, depending if he wants to retire or not. Correct?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the word.
so that team may get very, very interesting and very, very deep, as it is already, really. But they're dealing with some injuries, so very exciting things that are going on in the West. And the lovely play-in that I always talk highly of. You only have to win a couple games, so they could make some noise, and some West teams would be pretty mad about that, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't you do that. Don't you give me hope that Dame comes back and now he's got a good team around him and he comes
I'm just
back like
saying. I'm
James
just
Harden and
saying.
Kawhi are right now. And oh, Alex, you're so rude.
That's cinema right there. But the first thing I wanted to get into before I did my unrivaled breakdown for the week. Wimby decided not to go the LeBron James route and actually went bald early. So shout out to him. I think it unlocked a superpower because his first game was against Giannis and Miles Turner, and he had 22 points and rebounds and 2 blocks. And then his second game against Randall and Gobert, he diced them up for 39 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks. Utah, like the bald Wimby. How are we feeling?
I think that was his final step in transcendence from the monk training that he went through over the summer. I think he is now at not even at his final form. Let's be honest, but he is now at another stage in his anime arc right now, uh, and I'm excited to see what the next step is because yeah, he's been playing like insane, and I think I'm trying to think of who was guarding him against the Jazz. That's why I hesitated for a second.
I was about to say
Um,
it should be marketing, but they have now uh, officially bought into the tank, so he's sitting a lot of games.
I don't say he's been out for a while,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's it's Wemby, man. I'm never surprised about Wemby. It's just insane that he's not even in his prime yet, right? Like age wise. So,
yeah,
uh, God, it's gonna be scary when he does.
yeah. I'm gonna get into it for sure some more during the power rankings, but that is a contending team for sure, and a scary team to look out for in the West. My unrivaled breakdown, another exciting week. The first headline I had was the Rose lose their first game. Didn't know if it was even going to happen, but congratulations to the Hive because they won their first game defeating the Rose. Chelsea Gray still dominating, 36 points, 7 assists, and 2 steals. And then the Vinyl beat the Breeze. The Breeze first loss this season, and Paige Becker still had 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, but it was in a loss nonetheless. But they did bounce back with a 20-point win over the Mist. I think the deepest team in Unrivaled right now. But that's because Paige had 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. The Lunar Owls won their first game. Maybe the only one they win in this unrivaled season because their lineup's pretty tough with Nafisa Collier sitting out this season. Some fireworks we definitely saw in that game. Marina Mabry almost fought Courtney Williams, but instead she put up 31 points, 9 rebounds, and the game-winning shot. So shout out to her for not fighting. Jackie Young is my last thing that I wanted to bring up. Dropped 35 on her Aces teammate Chelsea Gray, who's been putting up those performances herself. So it was kind of funny to see her get a bit of her own medicine right there from a teammate in the WNBA and looks like a better rival now in Unrivaled. Any of that stand out to you?
Just Chelsea Gray. I mean, just absolutely killing it. 30 points a game. Like you said, the first week we talked about it, going gunning for that MVP and uh, making it everyone's problem.
Yeah, she decided to win a championship in the first season of Unrivaled with the Aces, and now she's trying to come back and win another championship on Unrivaled and be the MVP as she does it, because she has been so far. But Unrivaled has just been fantastic to watch, and it's held me over until we hopefully get a season in May, because it was announced today that if we do, the first Fever game will be at home and against the Dallas Wings. So a little excited about that one to say the least.
Hmm.
Please, please, CBA talks, make it happen.
Absolutely.
But now it's time for our NBA power rankings where we list our top five teams after the most recent week. Colton, who you got?
Yeah, so I got Denver Nuggets sitting at 5. They're 7-5 without Jokic, so nothing like to write home about. But that's even without Murray, Gordon, and Christian Braun for like 8 games. Murray and Gordon missing about 3 to 5 games throughout that stretch. So without their key pieces, they're still out here winning games. So I gotta keep them in the power rankings, especially considering what they looked like at full strength. Phoenix, the Suns beat Brooklyn and Philly to start their East Coast trip this week. They've been trending upwards for the last couple of weeks now, and they've just kind of been stacking pennies. And with everyone else kind of stagnant, I went ahead and went with the team that's on the rise right now. And then the Spurs, I was maybe a little too quick to put them at number one. I believe I did last time I was on the show. But they did just lose to Houston on the second half of doubleheader. They're just fine, but I had to readjust my power rankings a bit from the last time. And then Detroit, they're winning games despite their offense not clicking on all cylinders. They had just 109 points per 100 possessions in their 2 wins last week. And this is obviously thanks to their second ranked defense in the league. But with their turnovers being an issue and just the offense not looking that great, they're still churning out wins against quality opponents. I think the Suns were one of the teams they beat, came back from being down a lot. So, all in all, seeing them at not their full strength makes me wonder: could this team really come out of the East? Like, obviously, that thought comes with them being the 1 seed, but we see a lot of 1 seeds that are really good regular season.
For sure.
But I look at how weak the rest. I mean, the Celtics are at number 2, and the Celtics have looked great. I'm not trying to discount that, but that's their current like. It's the Celtics or the Knicks would be the team they would face in the Eastern Conference right now, championship right now. So like, I take the Pistons. I mean, I can see that going 7 games and maybe one of those two taking it out, but it's really a conversation that needs to be had. The damn Pistons might be in the NBA Finals. How about that? But uh, then at number 1, I got OKC, and as I have all the season, it's OKC. If you watched a game in the past 2 years, you can know why OKC is at the top. Hey, if they win it out, which they could, they got a record. They got the record that I was calling for. I don't know if they will, but I wouldn't be shocked if they do.
Neither would I, unfortunately. But yeah, we talked about it. The teams that go out and win those ugly games. That's why they make our power rankings, because they can do that against quality teams. And mine starts with the Celtics, second in the East. Again, you're supposed to be bad. Please go back to that. Top three and three pointers made, obviously the great equalizer. So that's helped him a bunch. Jalen Brown playing out of this world. So shout out to him. Got the All
All
Star
star
nod that,
starter,
yeah,
yeah.
All Star nod that he most certainly deserves. So shout out to him. Four is the Spurs, and I want to have them higher, but the recent week is just gave me some concerns for sure, because they're not really dealing with too many injuries right now, so they should be winning games. They have been playing quality opponents for sure, but uh, just been a little tough as of recent. Still second in the West and second in rebounds per game. Something that stood out to me there, because they're finishing possessions. So you're not really getting many extra possessions against the Spurs. And that is a big deal in the NBA, especially when you score so much in the NBA now. The Nuggets are at my number three, tied for the second in the West, or at least they were the last time I checked. First in points per game and field goal percentage. I thought that number would dip, but it has not, even without Jokic, and that is a credit to the whole team that they have built around him. Yeah, some other teams don't do that a lot, but shout out to the Nuggets for doing that. Great pieces, and Aaron Gordon's back and finally playing healthy basketball, back to himself. So that's awesome to see, really. The second team I have is the Pistons, first in the East, closing in on OKC, I would say. OKC has definitely had some struggles as of recent. They have been dealing with injuries, but most of the games they're losing is because I mean, it's the ones they have their starters with. The ones that are like eking out are the ones that they are down seven people. So that's really causing me some concern and saying it's a little closer in the power rankings than it has been, all season. But yeah, number one is still OKC, the best record in the league, but three losses this month. So watch
Ugh,
out. Any other
what a
team
terrible
would
team.
be praying for that. But three losses, they're looking terrible. I can't wait to see how much more terrible they look the rest of the season. But with that,
Maybe next month 4 losses, or this month isn't over. They can still.
there's still plenty of opportunity. Not against the Lakers, but there's other opportunities, I'm sure. Now it's time to move to our NBA Pick'em, where we pick our winners for the biggest games in the association this week. My first one is Thursday, 10 p.m. on Prime. Something we have mentioned quite a bit on this show. Lakers at the Clippers. Colton, who you got?
That's a good one. That's a good one here. And I'm going to go ahead and rock with the team I talked about. I'm going to go with the LA Clippers. I'm sorry, Alex, just to save the graphic, we'll say, but also just how well they've been playing recently. I'm not sure what the Lakers injury report looks like, to be honest. To be honest, I haven't actually done much research on the Lakers recently. I've just
You don't
let
need
you
to.
do the Lakers talking. So I'd have to look into it a little bit more on that their end. But I'll just go with the team that I think is pretty hot right now and give the Clippers. Is it at? I mean, they're both in Los
It's
Angeles, but
at the Clippers, yeah.
at
It's
the
at the
Clippers.
Intuit Dome across the street. Uh, but yeah, the Lakers have recently lost to the Hornets, the Blazers, and the Kings. Um, the Blazers, sure. The Hornets and the Kings, what are we doing? Hornets, a mess. The Kings, we were concerned that the beam didn't work anymore. Um, ugly stuff going on in Lakerland right now. Austin Reeves, obviously being out, is a big part of that. Please come back soon. But it's not looking like it's going to be anytime soon. So that's the biggest factor here because the rest of the team is healthy. Um, they have some stuff to figure out. And Clippers are starting to gain momentum and they're starting to be a good team. And we can't beat the bad ones. So I don't see us beating this now good team. So I actually have the Clippers in this one.
All right, all right.
And then this one, the next one I have is Saturday, 3 p.m. on ABC. A beautiful matinee. The Knicks at the 76ers. Who you got?
Mm. I think I'm just going to go with the flow on this one too. I'm going to take the Sixers. Not that they've been on any like hot streak or anything like that, but the Knicks have just been on such a cold streak that I can't really. I think I'll go ahead and take the safe pick and go with the Sixers. Tyrese Maxey also getting an All Star starter nod, which is very well deserved. But when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, that happened so fast. Yeah, shout out Maxi, shout out the Sixers. I think they take it home against a team that's kind of already. It looks like Peter Griffin on the floor right now. Um, ugly position for the Knicks, but maybe this is where they turn it around. I'm going Sixers still.
Yeah, this is a team that I'm not so sad about talking about struggling as I was with the Lakers. Um, they've lost four in a row, as I mentioned earlier. And the 76ers have kind of gotten back to what they were at the beginning of the season, what we were hoping they were, to be a contender in the East, because they showed flashes of it at the beginning of the season. It just went off the rails for quite some time. But everybody seems to be healthy, and they're playing really good basketball. So give me the 76ers to send the Knicks into a players only meeting and win this game. But we will move on now to our shooting star, where we pick our baller of the week. Colton, who you got?
I might steal this one from you, but I think it's too good of a performance not to mention Emmanuel Quickly, the most efficient 40-point 10 assist game in NBA history, shooting 11 for 13 from the field and only missing one of his 8 3-point attempts. I mean, that's just ethical hoops right there. That's just ethical hoops at its finest. Not if you were to to tell me who would have gotten the most efficient 40-point game, I don't think Emmanuel Quickly would have come to mind, but he is an efficient player. I just don't typically see him scoring 40 points. But shout out to him for getting it done against the Warriors, win I think about by about 10. So
Hmm.
Raptors are looking good. That's another team that like I kind of was like, oh, they're higher than I thought they were in the standings. So they're still top four in the East. That's a team, Alex. I remember you having high praise for early on in the season. So shout out Emmanuel Quickly. He's my baller of the week.
I'm glad you gave him his flowers because I did not, because I've been trying to sneak this person into my shooting star for a couple weeks now, but uh, too many people having great performances that we need to talk about. But anyways, mine is a old star who used to put up great performances, Danilo Gallinari, who is officially retired from basketball. 20 years of pro ball and 16 of those in the NBA. So, great player, great role player, at least throughout his whole career. Really knocked down the long ball. Would really thrive, I think, a whole lot more in today's game than he
Mm-hmm.
did in the game that in the time that he had to play. But his whole career, just a great role player, no matter what, and deserves his flowers. So he gets my shooting star for this week.
Danilo, man. I remember being so confused, and I was just getting into the NBA when that trade happened, Melo to the Knicks. I was just like, Danilo Garner. I just love saying his name,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't realize he was like really all that good. And then what happened, and absolute bucket getter, made it very far in the league. And like you said, I think he could have been. Did he ever get an All Star or not? I don't think so. Right?
I don't think so. No.
Doesn't seem like he kind of had a year or two that I felt like he was a fringe All Star, but um, yeah, I feel like he would have probably been an All Star in today's game. It definitely fit his abilities, but yeah, still a legend. It was playing it up in EuroLeague, so yeah, love to see it. Hope the best for him in retirement.
Yeah, bounced around a lot, but he was great wherever he bounced around to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you don't have any final thoughts, that will do it for this episode of the Restricted Area Podcast. Thanks to Colton for being on. Follow the show's YouTube at CX Restricted Area and follow the CX crew on all socials at CX Pod Network. You can follow me on Twitter at The Wheel Deal and Colton at Colt_45. That's three T's, by the way. And thank you all for listening and watching. And until next time, like a Jason Williams pass, be smooth.